50% of companies that replace their team with AI now regret it. More than a third of them have already spent more money rehiring than they ever saved from the layoffs in the first place. And that stat doesn't surprise me at all, because I've seen the same thing happen at a smaller scale. Businesses automating the wrong things, watching them backfire, and then paying double to undo the damage. I run an AI consulting agency and I build AI systems for a living. There are things in my business, important things that I will never let AI touch. Not because the technology can't do it, but because it shouldn't. So today, I'm going to walk you through the both sides. The things I automated that most people don't think to automate, the ones that quietly save me hours every week, and the things I refuse to automate even though I easily could. And that second list might surprise you, because some of the things every AI guru is telling you to hand over to a machine. By the end of this video, you're going to have a clear framework for knowing the difference, and it comes down to one question. All right, let me start with what I did automate. And I'm not going to talk about the obvious stuff like scheduling, email sequences, social media posting. Everyone knows about those, and I want to show you the ones that actually change how my business operates. The first thing I automated is tribal knowledge capture. So every business has a Dave, and Dave's the person who's been there the longest, knows where everything is, and knows why that one client gets invoiced differently, knows the workaround for a broken process that no one really fixed. And Dave is basically a walking encyclopedia. And when Dave goes on vacation, for example, everything slows down. And when Dave quits, you're in trouble. So I built a system that passively captures knowledge from conversations, resolved support tickets from meeting notes, and turns it into a searchable documentation automatically. No one has to sit down, write an SOP. The system builds it from the work that's already happening. And the result isn't just documentation, it's that a new team member can get answers without interrupting Dave or looking for Dave. Teams discover knowledge from other departments that they didn't even know existed, and the company gets smarter without anyone doing extra work. Most people think of automation as replacing a task. This one creates more of an asset that didn't exist before. That's a completely different perspective and game. So here's the second one. I don't let AI make decisions for my business, but I let it do 90% of the work that leads to a decision. For example, when I'm scoping a project, AI pulls the relevant client history, researches their industry, drafts a comparison of approaches, and presents me with 2 or 3 options. By the time something hits my desk, I'm choosing between well-searched options instead of just starting from scratch. Banks are doing the same thing at scale, using AI to prepare loan underwriting. 40% faster processing, same or even better risk assessment. And the AI doesn't approve the loan. It just makes sure the human can approve it in 2 minutes instead of using 2 hours. Stop debating whether AI should make your decisions. Start asking whether AI should prepare them. And the answer is almost always yes. The third one, and this is counterintuitive because everyone wants AI to produce and generate work, writing proposals, drafting emails, generating reports. But the highest ROI automation in my business is AI checking work, not creating it. Before a proposal goes to a client, AI reviews it for any inconsistencies. Does the scope match the pricing? Are there timelines given? The deliverables realistic? Did I reference the right project details? It's a second pair of eyes that never get tired or even have a bad Monday, right? And here's why this matters more than you think. Catching one mistake before it reaches a client is worth more than producing one extra deliverable. A proposal with a pricing error doesn't just lose you money, it loses you trust. I don't use AI to write my proposals. I use AI to check them before they go out. That's a completely different thing. Last one on the automation side, and this one sounds like a contradiction, but just stay with me. I use AI to make sure human interactions happen at the right time, not to replace them, to trigger them. The system tracks project milestones, contract renewal dates, how long it's been since I last checked in with a client, and then it nudges me to say, hey, it's been 3 weeks since you talked to this person and their project wraps up in 10 days. Then I pick up the phone myself. The automation doesn't send a message. It just tells me when I need to send it. The best use of AI in client relationships isn't replacing the conversation. It's making sure the conversation happens. So that's the 80%. And if you're watching this thinking, okay, I should automate more, just hold on, because here's where most people get it wrong. Automation amplifies whatever you feed it. If you automate something you do well, it scales. If you automate something you don't fully understand, it scales your mistakes. And I've seen that happen way too many times. So let me walk you through what not to automate, and pay attention to the last one because that's the framework that makes this all click. Number one, and this is the most expensive automation mistake I see personally. People come and say, the process is broken, let's automate it. And I have to tell them, if your process doesn't work manually, it's not going to work automated. It's going to fail faster, and you're going to lose the ability to see why. There's a phrase in the engineering world, don't automate chaos. and it's definitely real. I talked to a company that automated their client onboarding, but their onboarding was already a mess with inconsistent steps, different people doing different things, no clear handoff points. And they automated the whole entire mess, right? And now instead of a slow, confusing process, they had a fast, confusing process that no one could debug. 80% of AI projects fail. And the number one reason isn't the technology, it's the operational foundation that wasn't there. Document first, fix second, automate third. If you skip the first two steps, step three makes everything worse. Number two, automated quoting and pricing. For standardized products, sure, automate pricing all day, but for services like consulting, custom projects, anything where the scope varies, automating pricing is handing your margin to a machine that doesn't understand the context. I had a conversation with a consultant who automated his whole proposal pricing process. He was losing deals and couldn't figure out why exactly. The AI didn't know that one client was a long-term relationship worth discounting on, and that another client was a one-off project where you charge premium because the turnaround is tight and the requirements are going to change 3 times. Pricing isn't math, it's judgment. It's relationship context, strategic value, it's knowing when to hold your number and when to flex it. An algorithm doesn't have that. If you automate pricing, you will optimize for the average deal. But the best deals, the ones that build your business, are never average. Number three, automate everything that gets you to the conversation, like lead scoring, outreach follow-up sequences, scheduling, all of that, automate it. But the actual sales conversion, the discovery call, the negotiation, the close, that stays human. Because AI can't read the room. It can't hear that someone said, yeah, that sounds fine, but man, I'm not convinced. It can't navigate the emotional dynamics of a B2B purchase where there's 3 stakeholders with different priorities and nobody wants to be the first to say no. And we have real examples of what happens when companies try. Taco Bell, for example, put AI on their drive-through and it couldn't understand basic sentences. It treated every order like a riddle and it became a joke. That's a fast food order. Imagine what happens when the stakes are actually higher. Only 20% of companies that deployed AI in customer service actually reduced their team size. Most of them kept the same people and handled more volume because the human element was the thing that actually worked and was a competitive edge. Automate the pipeline, protect the conversation. That's where the deal actually happens. Number four, I'm not just talking about the obvious, don't fire someone via AI. I'm talking about performance reviews being auto-generated, feedback summaries written by a model, difficult client conversations drafted and sent without a human really sitting with what needs to be said. Anytime stakes are high and the recipient is a real human with feelings, the messenger needs to be human too. And the data backs us up. 55% of companies that cut workers citing AI efficiency now regret it. More than a third spent rehiring more than they saved. Salesforce cut 4,000 customer support roles, said AI handles half of their interactions, and then 6 months later, they cut another 1,000, including people on the AI team itself. When people find out a machine decided their fate or even just wrote the message, you don't lose that relationship. You lose every relationship that person talks to about it. AI can help you prepare for a hard conversation. It should never have the conversation for you. Okay, last one. And this is the meta rule, the one that governs everything else I just said. If you can't look at AI's output and know within 10 seconds whether it's right or wrong, you're not ready to automate that process. Not because AI is bad, but because you're not ready to be the quality control layer that process actually needs. And every automated process needs a quality control layer, every single one. When a bank uses AI to prep loan underwriting, the loan officer still reviews it, and they have 20 years of experience to know when the numbers actually feel off. When I use AI to check my proposals, I've written enough proposals to know when the AI missed something. The expertise comes first, and then the automation came second. If you reverse that order, if you automate something before you deeply understand it, you're not automating, you're more so gambling. And the worst part is you don't even know you're losing until a client calls you out on it. Automation is not a shortcut to expertise. It's a multiplier for expertise you already have. So here's the framework. 2 questions before you automate anything. 1, do I understand this process well enough to catch the AI when it's wrong? If the answer is no, don't automate it yet. Map it, then learn it, and then fix it. And then at the end, automate it. 2, what happens if the AI makes a mistake here? If the answer is not too much, I'll catch it, then you can automate. And if the answer is we lose a client or someone gets hurt, then keep it human for now. All right, that's it. That's the whole framework. If you want help figuring out where that line is for your specific business, where to automate, where to keep it human, and what order to do it in, that's exactly what we do. I'm offering a free strategy call where we look at your specific workflows and figure out what's the first right move. No pitch, no pressure, just clarity on what's worth automating and what isn't. Links in the description. See you in the next one.